Conversation with the Creator. The first question that came to my mind, is gravity a force that interests people so much and we cannot fathom it? Answer: gravity is not a force but a phenomenon. Like electricity. It is not always present but is created when the conditions are created for it. Question: what does the cosmos really look like? Answer: imagine a circle whose line, gray lines in drawing 1, is billions and billions of kilometers thick and transparent. Duplicate the circle and slightly rotate it along the horizontal axis of the circle. Duplicate and slightly rotate again and so on until you close the circle. Each duplicated circle represents a cosmos unto itself. More clearly, it represents one parallel world, the cosmos. The drawing is of a fictitious nature, separated from each other by the frequencies within which that world cosmos exists. Each of them has its own physical and chemical properties, its own laws of dynamics and everything else that makes up one cosmos. The cosmos begins with the explosion of two singularities at opposite ends of the horizontal axis of the circle, the positive part of the matter universe on one side and part of the antimatter universe on the opposite side of the axis. They are attracted to each other and enable an even expansion towards each other on all existing frequencies passing through all possible cosmos worlds. Each of them gets its own range of frequencies within which it will develop. They are separated by a range of frequencies that do not allow them to mix and are invisible to each other. At the same time, time expands throughout the whole and all cosmos worlds in the form of a spiral whose beginning is in the Big Bang and ends in the center of the circle where the singularity and the end of the cosmos are. It's the same with the other half where it's antimatter. The closer two opposites are to each other, the stronger they attract. That's why it seems that the universe is speeding up with time and the galaxies are moving further and further away because the ball of the cosmos is the widest in the middle. In the end, everything will end in the center of the universe and the energies of opposites, matter and antimatter, will pass into a singularity. From the singularity, the polarized cosmos attracts towards the periphery, plus, matter and antimatter towards the minus. The circle of the cosmos boundary and the empty cosmos worlds remain as the basis of the future cosmos. It is known that the universe consists of many different energies and that only 2% of the cosmos is matter, solid energy that is complex to create. That's why in this cosmos of ours and every alternative world cosmos there is only 2%. Why? Because the Creator that He created teaches how to improve the process of creating non-living and living matter and to place them in a quality and stable relationship. For now, 2% is quite enough. In some of the Sargent cosmos matter will be much more. Question: if you're so powerful, why don't you make improvements yourself? Answer: I do it experimentally and each subsequent cosmos is more perfect than the previous one. I created matter as I knew based on my first experiences, but I accelerated the realization by creating intelligent beings that will explore the cosmos in which they exist and help me create a new one faster and better. Each new one will have more and more matter and being, thus a greater potential for cognition and experience. The first cosmos had no matter, consciousness, or intelligent beings. It was the beginning of the next universes where more complex energies, inanimate and living matter, later consciousness, and emotions will be created as the driving element of living beings. All this had to be placed in a certain relationship that should function, constantly progress, and develop itself. That is why intelligent entities were created. To study the existing environment in which they exist. To realize in their cosmos everything they see and don't see. Curiosity, impatience, and even fears that they won't do something during their own life, which is relatively short, make them do it, and that's why they try to do as much as possible. All these mutualities of beings needed ideas, time, and experiments. I have given in this universe 2% of matter for you to explore, learn and develop. To master matter, which is one of the most complex energies. Here I am referring to the microcosmos, and living beings in which above all there is consciousness. Man, and many other beings in this universe should master inanimate and living matter in their own unique way. I will incorporate that knowledge into my experience and create the next more perfect cosmos with more matter and higher quality and more complex beings. In order to master the matter, you are not yet aware that you have to harmonize three basic elements: the energy of matter itself, consciousness, mind, and emotions. The form of each matter, which is a complex structure of energy, can be changed to a lesser or greater extent by the amount, quality, and quantity of energy that is the product of your mind that accumulates and directs energy. More precisely, the consciousness and the mind in which emotions exist. They are powerful energy conductors, who manage and channel energies in the direction of shaping matter. Dispersed energy alone without conscious direction has a weak, almost no effect on matter. Until you achieve that harmony, you change and shape matter with other matter that has enough energy to do so. Your consciousness and mind have enough energy only for creativity and shaping various forms of primary matter that you use with the addition of your own as an addition to the created forms matter. A hammer has been created, but without your additional energy, you will not be able to change and shape the iron. A hammer won't shape iron by itself unless you pick it up, swing it, and hit the metal. Only then, with your energy and the energy of the hammer, you change the matter, iron. When we strengthen consciousness and mind, we will change and shape matter without physical efforts and auxiliary material forms that are essential mediators on that path. You will create new forms, and instantly move around the cosmos where and when you want. Connect with other beings and shape the cosmos according to your ideas and desires. This is how the new cosmos and the new knowledge that I will incorporate into myself are shaped and developed. There is dark matter and energy that is omnipresent. It is the fluid in which the entire cosmos is immersed, and they control its growth, expansion, and later contraction. They can change both matter and pure and simpler energy because they are energy that is not yet matter but is more powerful than pure fluid energy. Dark matter and dark energy are two sides of the same face. Dark matter creates the cosmos and its connectivity. When the cosmos reaches a certain density, part of the dark matter becomes dark energy. As the cosmos develops, the amount of dark energy increases and holds everything together so that the cosmos does not fall apart. Through these energies, they can influence the cosmos because it is influenced by the energy of consciousness. These are quantum laws. Question: Are we disappearing with the cosmos? Answer: The physical existence disappears, not the knowledge and experience I assimilate. Question: Where are you physically located? Answer: The answer is more complex. I am in a world that, according to you, has not yet been created. It is a space-time loop. According to you, I am in the future in one of the cosmos that will be created and in which everything is the best of all variants of the universe. That's my cosmos. From there I allow myself to be present in all variants, in the past and in the future. So I am partially present here as well. The current universe does not yet have the prerequisites for my existence, but I have to go through these developments in order to reach the moment of my creation and the place where I am now. I am in a time-spatial stillness that I have reached through my own development and the development of all the cosmos, energies, and beings in it. That place has its own, perfected elements of all cosmos. But they are also subject to change because all past and future cosmoses are in conjunction and have constant dynamics. At the same time, I am constantly perfecting all the cosmos that have been created and thus developing in a place that is not subject to the laws of all other cosmos. Essentially all universes are in constant motion and change. They change and develop. It is dynamic, without a beginning and an end. Question: How do you control all that? Just through dark matter and energy? Answer: No. With beings in every universe who have attained cosmic consciousness. On the one hand, they collect information, and on the other hand, they participate in creating changes and correcting errors in the global functioning of the universe itself. With my help in part, they also use dark matter and energy. I process the information received from them, some I reject and some I incorporate into my own being. Question: Who are beings with cosmic consciousness? Answer: All energetic beings who united the knowledge of all civilizations in one cosmos. Through those beings, I am present in every universe, and I transfer their knowledge to a new, more complex cosmos in which they will be able to master it with that foreknowledge and help the beings created in only one cosmos. They have the genetic record of the previous cosmos, and it is more complex than the DNA in beings created in only one cosmos. They have knowledge that enables them to perfect and correct the cosmos. Question: do people consider these beings gods? Answer: yes. Their occasional action with civilizations and even with humans seems divine because they are more powerful and can change matter at will. This causes respect for beings created in one cosmos. It's understandable because someone who doesn't die is ruled by elemental forces and all other energies. In worlds where matter is something that is the basis of everything, they consider it supernatural. Which is actually true. They are above the material and look at the bigger picture that must work in order for the material to survive. Question: why do they interfere with the existence of civilizations created only in one cosmos? Answer: on the one hand, they interfere when it comes to the general stability and development of the cosmos in the case of highly developed civilizations. Among the less developed? Question: we still kill each other and live hard. Many sentient beings have died during human development. Answer: quality is important, not quantity. Every development is a spiral ascent on which there are victims, and this consciousness does not disappear but is renewed in order to continue the development. But if the entire civilization disappears, it is a significant loss on the path of development. And regardless of the fact that every being is renewed, it is only a partial renewal. But if not, if the entire civilization disappears with all its development, there is nowhere to continue the ascent and everything starts from the beginning. It is a great loss for the cosmos as it continues to expand, evolve, and once it disappears, a new civilization created from the ashes of the old one will not have enough time for a new rise, and consciousness has nowhere to renew itself and continue its development because the entire civilization has disappeared. It will be able to be recreated only in the next cosmos. Question: so not a single civilization created since the creation of the cosmos has completely disappeared? Answer: they disappeared in the beginning when the first cosmos was created. When we didn't exist. That was a waste of quality energy and a slowdown in development. In those cosmos, there was either no matter at all or significantly less matter. When it reached 1%, they started to create the first civilizations, many of which disappeared due to the instability of the universe, unstable planets, orbits of bodies that have fried or frozen planets, and too weak or strong energies woven into the structure of living beings. What is due to the being's own inability to survive, the creation of insufficient and low-quality food, resistance to too strong radiation, too much and too little heat, inconsistencies and stability of the first consciousnesses, deformation, and decay of physical bodies, beings too weak to form too solid matter. Question: are there any bad or destructive energies? Do we claim that without knowing the bad, we cannot know the good either? Answer: none. Bad and good are the antagonism of consciousness and living in a material world with a limited lifetime. Beings want to achieve as much as possible in their lives. This forces them to find shortcuts along the way. Your consciousness was a blank slate in the beginning. You have obtained an optimal world in which the ratio of the length of your life is in harmony with the other elements of your planet. You were given good and bad weather that forced you to fight for survival and master the environment. You have been given plants and animals, some of which are fatal to you, to develop your mind and experience. You have been given a body that has the ability to evolve through development. You use it in your own way. If someone eats food that is poisonous to him, it does not mean that it is also poisonous to another being on the planet. But you think it's bad. If you steal from another of your kind in order to get something that is good for you, you consider it good, but for another it is bad. Thus an antagonism began to be created in your consciousness of good and evil, and insecurity created a belief in something that would help you where you could not. Faith was the trigger for consciousness to turn to the invisible world of the cosmos and realize that there is something else besides the material. Just as conflicts forced you to evolve materially, and if it all came down to taking away goods from the other in order to have security in your life, your consciousness is just developing, and out of chaos harmony will be created when you reach a tipping point. More and more people are born who have never killed another person in their life. More and more beings find conflict unnecessarily destructive. and the more conflicts there are, the more there are those who consider wars pointless and superfluous. More and more people are becoming aware of living in general harmony and spiritual development. You've accomplished a lot in a short time, and if it doesn't seem like it at the moment, you've made a lot of progress in a short amount of time. Question: can time travel to the past or the future? Answer: no, at least not in the physical sense as you imagine traveling within your same cosmos. As the universe expands through an imaginary ball, it decays along with time. Question: so that the past does not exist, and the universe behind us is empty? Answer: time exists only in your consciousness. Everything physical that you see is the present. If you look at the reflection of a star that disappeared long ago, you see it only in the present. In the past, none of that exists, just like the entire cosmos. Question: in the ball of the cosmos behind us is only emptiness? Answer: no. There are other cosmos, behind is new, and young, and in front are other universes that are older than yours. I don't wait for the complete beginning and end of the individual cosmos because that is a waste of time. After your cosmos has been created and the necessary parameters for its development have been established, a new burst begins with the previously known experience. In essence, the basis of the ball of the cosmos is an unchanging parameter, and in it, new cosmoses are created in the form of impulses that never catch up with each other and do not mix. Thus the experience is accelerated. Question: so time travel doesn't exist? Answer: it is physically possible to make a jump from one to another universe that is different from yours. You consider it an alternative history, but it is essentially a new cosmos with different elements of space, energy, matter and time. Time in another cosmos can be the same in order to maintain distance from the previous universe. Question: how can the distance between two cosmos be bridged? Answer: not at all. Time acceleration allows one to jump out of one universe and wait for the next. When you leave one universe, time ceases to exist, and when you enter another universe, time repeats flowing. At rest you are not aware of time or space and remain as compact energy thanks to the dark matter and energy that is omnipresent. It is the eternal fluid present in the ball of the universe through which the cosmos develop. I just change and improve it depending on my own experience. Question: can't I go back to my universe if I want to? Answer: physically no, when you go to the younger universe behind you. There is no physical option of any acceleration or motion because there is no time between the two universes. There is stagnation there. You stand still and wait for the new cosmos, and the universe expands linearly. In a spiral but linear. You can mentally move through space and time because consciousness is universally present and connected in all cosmoses. You can see the past and the future cosmos for you, but basically, it means nothing to you, except to satisfy your curiosity. Master the current journey within your universe and you will see wonders and beauties unseen for you. Elevate spiritually and you will see even greater miracles, then you can reach all the universes as cosmic consciousness in me. Question: you say that you are in a time-spatial stillness that you reached through your own development and the development of all the cosmos, energies, and beings in it. That place has its own, perfected elements of all cosmos. But they are also subject to change because all past and future cosmoses are in conjunction and have constant dynamics. Answer: correct. Question: how big and what does your cosmos really look like? Answer: I said it is in a space-time loop. This means that the size of my cosmos is the mathematical point where time, space, and therefore all the elements in it are compressed. If you were in it, it would seem to you that you are in an infinitely large cosmos, although from the outside it would be an infinitely small mathematical point. That time stands still, that is, it does not exist, but flows according to my will, and that according to you, everything happens instantly, but at the same time, your consciousness tells you that time still flows. Like a dream. You rest and exist at the moment, but in a dream, a lot happens in a larger or smaller time-space span. Seen by my senses, the cosmos is full of dense energies that contain space and time that stand still and begin to flow and expand only when they are released through a created universe like yours. In all that spatially manic universe there are energy balls of all universes in which the essential, important, and compressed experience of a certain universe that already existed is. And the orbs I have created or am creating for future universes are created based on essential experiences from earlier universes drawn from the orbs of earlier universes. I break down some old orbs that are unnecessary for me and modify and develop these energies and then use them to build a new universe. In them, I create new parameters of energy, matter, space, and time flow. Of course, there is also a material and the anti-material world here, because by perfecting them I will get a more perfect material anti-material world. A world where opposites are united. When I finish the construction of the new universe, since I am in the center of the cosmos, I start the energies that will later create matter, towards the left edge of the circle, and antimatter, towards the right edge. When both spheres with models of the new universe reach the edges of the circle, the elements on the left and matter and antimatter on the right begin to be released. Time, space, and energies begin their expansion creating a new cosmos.